Is it worth it to try and become a consultant in 2021? In this video, we're going to go over some pros and cons of choosing consulting as an occupation. We're going to go over compensation, some of the advantages of choosing consulting as a career path, as well as there are plenty of disadvantages as well. But first, what is consulting and what do consultants do? Consultants recommend ways to improve an organization's efficiency. They advise managers on how to make organizations more profitable through reduced costs and increased revenues. Consultants support the largest companies in the entire country. They support government, they support nonprofits. Pretty much every industry uses consultants. So what does a typical consultant do? My consulting offer has a pretty good chart. First, consultants define the problem, then they collect facts, identify best practices, outline an implementation plan, help management reach a consensus, recommend a solution, and then ensure improvements are sustainable. They do this over and over and over again. And this process can be applied to IT consulting. It could be applied to management consulting, and it can be applied to government. So what does it actually take to become a consultant in 2021? According to the Occupational Information Network, about 38% of management consultants have a bachelor's degree, 12% have a bachelor's degree plus some kind of certificate, and about 46% have a master's degree. So many different people can enter consulting at different educational levels. In fact, consultants actually recruit at a lot of universities across the country at actually different educational levels. This is from the website I Got an Offer, and these are multiple entry points for consultants. After attaining a bachelor's degree, consulting companies will recruit undergrads as business analysts. After an MBA, consultants will recruit people as a senior consultant, PhD, MD, JD, junior consultant, and then if there's an experienced hire with more than 5 years of experience, it varies wildly. So the base requirement of becoming a consultant is a bachelor's degree, but many people that change careers, they'll get an MBA and then they'll enter and become a consultant after their MBA and then come in at a much higher level. So many people will go and try and get a full-time MBA with the knowledge that after those 2 years, they'll try and become a consultant at a prestigious firm. And as far as consulting firms go, there are quite a few to choose from. Some popular consulting firms include McKinsey, Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Bain Capital, EY, Boston Consulting Group, Accenture, and Booz Allen Hamilton. The 3 most prestigious consulting firms, and these are the hardest ones to get into. You basically have to go to an Ivy League school or a top 10 MBA program to get into McKinsey, Bain Capital, and Boston Consulting Group. These are very challenging firms to get into. And Big 4 accounting firms also recruit a lot of consultants such as Deloitte, EY, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. So the first thing to understand about consulting firms is that they have a very similar hierarchy to law firms, accounting firms, and even the military. Basically, there's a lot of analysts and associates at the bottom. Then there's less consultants, less managers, and then there's far less partners at the top. And there's this kind of track that you are on. For example, we can look at the McKinsey, Bain, and BCG career progression. You would basically start off as a business analyst for 2 years, try and get a promotion. You become a senior business analyst. After 1 year, potential another promotion, you become an associate, then engagement manager, associate partner, and then director. So for these 3 prestigious firms, every 2 to 3 years, the aim is to get promoted. And the Big 4 accounting firms also follow a similar hierarchical structure. You would basically start off as an analyst, move into a consulting role, senior consultant, manager, senior manager, and then partner or director. So it seems really easy, right? You just put in 1 to 2 years and you get promoted to that next rung. Well, here's where we get into why consulting is really challenging and competitive. Just like law firms, just like the military, consulting firms practice and have an up or out policy. So what is that? What does up or out mean? According to dictionary.com, up or out refers to a policy of employment in which one is either promoted or discharged. As a consultant, every 2 years, if you aren't promoted, you are asked to leave. This is common in law firms, this is common in accounting firms, and this happens in consulting firms. This actually also happens in the military as well. If a military officer gets passed on 2 promotions, they are actually discharged. So this kind of diagram shows what's kind of going on. Every 2 to 4 years, you either get promoted or you basically are asked to leave. And this happens at the consultant level, manager level, and things maybe get a little different at the partner level. So consulting can be extremely competitive. Another big con with accounting is the work-life balance. There are few occupations that ask you to work as much as consulting firms. Here is a diagram from consultancy.uk. Junior consultants are regularly putting in more than 80 hours a week. At the consultant and manager level, it regularly sits at around 70 hours a week. At the senior manager level, maybe it dips down to around 60 hours a week. But then at the director and partner level, it dips almost back up to 80 hours a week once again. So when consultants tell you that they are working 80 hours a week, they are not lying. This is not an exaggeration. There are a few occupations out there that require you to work as much as consulting. And here's the thing, if you're working as an elevator mechanic or a registered nurse and you're putting in 80 hours a week, by law, companies actually have to give you time and a half and double time at a certain point. With consultants, this isn't the way it works. Consultants are working 80 hours a week for the future promise of more compensation. They are salaried. So yes, a consultant might get a bonus at the end of the year. They might get a promotion in 2 to 4 years, but these bonuses and promotions are not guaranteed. For ambitious people, becoming a consultant is a great choice. There are few opportunities out there that have such a high level of exit opportunities as consultants. In fact, here's some examples of people that used to work for a top consulting firm and are now top executives. The CEO of Pepsi used to work at BCG, and the current CEO of Google used to work at McKinsey. For entrepreneurs, the founder and CEO of Zynga used to work at Bain Capital, and the co-founder of Intuit used to work for Bain as well. As far as politicians go, Benjamin Netanyahu used to work for BCG, and the US Federal Reserve commonly recruits from McKinsey as well. And even many entertainers used to be consultants. John Legend used to work for BCG, and even the winner of Survivor used to work for McKinsey. So even if consultants are asked to leave or they get burned out, the exit opportunities are amazing. In fact, I can't really think of another occupation that has such a high level of exit opportunities available to them as consultants. And also, if you're trying to become a top executive, this is one of the best occupations to go into. Yes, it's really tough to go ahead and work 80 hours a week, every week, pretty much for a number of years, but many top executives were once consultants at McKinsey, Bain, BCG, and other consulting firms. So the wide variety of exit opportunities available to consultants is definitely an advantage for them. Next up, what is the job market like? Is there a lot of demand for consultants going into the future? In the year 2000, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there was around 357,000 employed consultants. This rose to 734,000 in 2020. So the number of employed consultants has about doubled in about 2 decades. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics anticipates a 14% increase in the number of consultants over the next 10 years. This is a very healthy occupation. It's not going away anytime soon. Kind of consultants are really integrated into the Fortune 500 and so many different governments, nonprofits, and more. And there's a lot of real-time demand for consultants on the job boards right now. I typically use Indeed, Glassdoor, and LinkedIn.com to look at how healthy a particular occupation is as far as job postings are concerned. On Glassdoor.com, there was almost 200,000 job opportunities for management consultants. On Indeed, a little over 200,000 job postings. And on LinkedIn, 374,000 job postings related to consulting. So there is a lot of demand for consultants in the US economy right now. Now, it is more challenging to get into MBB, basically McKinsey, Bain, and BCG, but there are plenty of other boutique firms that people can try and get into. And as you can see, there are plenty of job postings for them all over the United States in a wide variety of industries for government, whether that's state government, local government, or federal government, and nonprofits. So the big question you have to ask yourself is this occupation for you? One way to help you determine this is to take a Myers-Briggs personality assessment and try and figure out whether other people with your personality are also choosing consulting. According to the Myers-Briggs company, the ESTJ is the most common Myers-Briggs type found in consulting, followed closely by the ISTJ. About 16% of consultants have the ESTJ personality type, and about 15% have the inspector, also known as the ISTJ type. So as you can see, there are pros and cons to becoming a consultant in 2021. The work-life balance is atrocious. You're going to have to work probably around 80 hours a week, all the way. It doesn't matter which level of consultant you are. These guys are putting in lots of hours every single week. And this is very similar to accounting firms and law firms. But you're getting amazing experience that you can use in many other occupations as a consultant, and a lot of top executives were once consultants. If you enjoyed this video, definitely also check out my accounting and or actuary video. These are also two other really great occupations to go into if you're interested in working in business. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.